Outbound kayak. Think it'll work? Think it'll be any good? I don't know. Let's give it a go. Okay, the Outbound Inflatable Kayak. These are brand spanking new into Canadian Tire. They're retailing for around $200. I like the idea of it because one thing that I've noticed this summer is kayaks have really gone up in price. I think with the COVID stuff, the COVID situation, and certainly here like travel restrictions and that sort of thing, they're kind of the must-have thing this summer. So now's the time to invest in one if you want to go out and get one. I know the K1 Challenger that I was looking at last year that I still use quite a lot. They're like $100 more expensive than what they were last year. So if you like these videos, by the way, then please subscribe, hit the like button. I'm going to give a no-nonsense review on this. I know it's a super cheap kayak. My expectations of this are not very high. I'm going to be honest with you. I do like the seat design in it. We'll see that when it's out of the box. One reservation I do have is the fact that I'm 6'3". So my legs, the inseam of my trousers is 34 inches long. So that coupled with my feet, I'm looking just over 3 feet of legs and backside that's got to fit into this bit here. So I'm hoping this kayak is long enough. It's 9 foot long, so it's a one-person kayak. They're saying it's 9 foot long and it can take a person up to 100 kilos. I'm 92 kilos, so it should be okay. So without further ado, let's get it out of the box. One pump. Paddle set. Kayak. Ripped instructions. Okay, moment of truth before I go any further. Can I get in it? Oh yeah, easily. Easily. Okay, because I'm sat right back, my feet are probably a good, well, nearly enough a foot from the end. So, yeah, that's actually quite neat. Okay, whenever you do these stop knots, like with this one, what you want to do is what's called a figure of 8. And these are found in sailing. And basically it's a knot that just basically ends up looking like an 8. If you just tie an overhand knot, you don't end up with that big a knot. A figure of 8 knot is a stop knot. So when you have the fair leads on the sailboat, it stops the line from going through, which is exactly what you've got here. So to do a figure of 8, what we do is you make a bit of a bite like that, loop, you go over and you basically trace round a figure of 8. So you end up with that and just position it down at the bottom. And all you end up with is a bigger knot. So that's less likely to slip through that fair lead there. Yeah? And it doesn't come undone. So the Outbound kayak, what have I found inflating it? I've bought this with few expectations that it's going to be any good. I thought it was going to be a little bit on the small side, but it is pleasantly big. It's large enough to take my great big long lanky cliffy legs, and the paddling position is really rather nice. You feel hugged in. The seat feels very supportive. I know with other kayaks I've had, the seat, if you don't get it right, you start getting pulls and it kind of starts hurting your back as you're paddling. This thing's got this nice big lumbar thing on the end, which sits really nicely into the base of your back. Super quality, and the only thing that lets it down a little bit is the valves are not the kind of professional valves you see on other kayaks, but nonetheless it's going to hold together quite well. Inflation tube 1 and 3 have the typical Lilo valves that you find on, you know, just kind of beach inflatable stuff like you get on a beach ball, but they are holding and not letting out any air. Chambers 2, which is on both sides, have more the more inflatable boat kind of valves on there. So the pump that it comes with is completely adequate. It's great, blows it up in no time, and you've got both adapters neatly stowed on the pump. So long as you bring the pump with you, it will inflate the boat. The other nice thing on the pump that they give you is it's got the deflation end as well, so you can suck out all the air out of this for packing. However, it doesn't come with a bag, which is a shame. Could have come with a packing bag. Paddle's good. Like this design with the handles, and looks good enough, sturdy enough to push you along quite nicely. I'm expecting with this skirt, chamber 3, that it's going to be quite a nice dry kayak. I don't think you're going to get really very wet in here. And the skeg, I haven't seen where that goes yet, but it's the removable type, which is good. You don't want these kayaks where they're actually moulded into the boat, because it's kind of sitting on the ground. When it's in the water it's fine, but when it's sitting on the ground it can flex and bend and break. So this is always the last part of the boat that I put in before I get in the boat and start paddling. Yeah, because you don't want this to break, and all this does is it keeps you in a nice straight line, like points the boat. If you don't remember to put this skeg in, your boat will kind of zigzag through the water more, but this will keep it nice and true, so you can get a good full stroke on your paddle. Another tip with these boats, and especially this one, is when you get in it, you want to get in it in the water. Unless you've got a really nice sandy beach where the sand is not going to puncture it in any way. The beaches here are quite rocky, so what I generally tend to do is wade it out, get into about, I don't know, up to your kneecaps, and then get in the boat and then paddle off. So as I say, the best thing about this boat is the legroom. So even with the cushion that sits in the front, I've got tons of leg room, It's comfortable. Yeah, $200. Go get yourself one. Other thing with these inflatable kayaks, they're super light. So you can just chuck them over your shoulder and off you go. So this is one of the best things I like about inflatable kayaks. There's no fighting, or they're not heavy. You just kind of put them on your shoulder and go. So, okay. There she goes, she's in the car. Okay, welcome to Seeley Lake. What a nice backdrop. So, let's take the Outbound kayak out and see if this is as good as it looks. I think this is Outbound's first go at making a kayak, and they've done a really good job. I like it. I think it's very, very comfortable. It's easy to set up, easy to paddle, and for the money it's quite nice. On a plus side, it's a lot drier than the K1 because of this skirt that's around the cockpit. So I'm bone dry. I've been paddling for a while now and I'm bone dry. I'm paddling this in April. It's cold. The snow melt here is just, that was one of those bumps there. The snow melt has just started. So the water is very, very cold. But I'm here with a pair of shorts on and bare feet, and I am perfectly warm. It's insulated very well, so the cold water is not coming through the boat. And I say the other thing is I'm dry, so that's a big plus. This kayak is incredibly stable. It's not going to tip over at all. I've noticed that when I'm paddling, you get a bit of a bump, and it feels like you've hit the bottom. But I think that's the kind of hull design of this particular kayak. It's not, because I'm in fairly deep water, but it just feels like you've hit a rock or something, but I don't think I have. As I say, I think it's just the hull kind of flexing. But I think the shape in the water is taking a lot of paddling to get back, and yeah, and because your arms are so, you're having to dig in really wide, I don't think you can paddle it for long. So for big massive long trips on lakes and things, this thing probably isn't going to suffice, but for short little hops and fun on the water, it's absolutely fantastic. I don't think the skeg is particularly substantial on this one. Maybe you can make a bigger skeg on the bottom. The paddle could do with being bigger. The paddle's great, it's great quality, but the blades on the paddle aren't big enough. So this kayak seems to take a little bit more paddling than the K1. So it could have done with a bit of a bigger paddle, but you can go out and buy one, I suppose. Yeah, so the paddle that comes with it is adequate, but it's not brilliant. In terms of kind of paddling it, it's very prone, like all inflatable kayaks are, is to spin round on you. So you're merrily paddling away and you miss a stroke or something happens and you kind of turn around 180 degrees and you paddle back the other way. This seems a little bit more tipsy towards doing that. One thing that is a little bit ickety is this here. Oh, you see it's all kind of wrinkled here. This has an effect on the boat. It's not filling out properly. And the tubes underneath here are blown up quite well. But you've got all this saggy plastic here. And I think Outbound, when you come to do the Mark II of this, it needs a better bow. So again, the other thing with this, just to point out, is the skeg. It kind of sits here, not at the back of the boat. So, what's that? So the skeg has kind of bent. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of bent a little bit. Yeah, but if this was better here, it would sail so much better, it would paddle so much better. Yeah, it's a bit of a letdown on it, but as I say, I think this is Outbound's first go at a kayak. I haven't seen any others. They've done a damn good job of it because Outbound products are pretty damn good. I use lots of their camping stuff, and yeah, needs a bit of work, but it's okay. So go get yourselves one. As I say, if you like these videos, then please subscribe and hit the like button, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.